Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel on the college process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today I'm going to show you guys how to complete the Master Promissory Note and entrance paperwork if you guys are looking to take out the federal direct loans in the student's name, typically known as the Fafsa loans. Now, once again, for the Fafsa loans for freshman year, you'll be offered $5,500 in federal direct loans for freshmen, $6,500 for sophomores, $7,500 for juniors, and $7,500 for senior students in college. Now, that being said, when you guys go out, if you guys are looking to take out the federal direct loans, whether it's for freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, or senior year, you must have already completed the two forms I'm going to be going over now. Now, obviously, to even be offered the federal loans right from the get-go, you guys have to do the FAFSA form. So if you haven't done the FAFSA form and you're looking to get federal loans for the student automatically, first thing you need to do right off the bat is do the FAFSA form. So I suggest you do the FAFSA form by watching this video right here. I actually have a step-by-step guide of how to fill out the FAFSA form, as well as you also have to obtain the FAFSA IDs, also known as the FS8 IDs. If you have not done either of these two steps, please go to this video right here I'm showing you on the screen, the FSA ID creation video, which will show you how to create an ID for your student and yourself. And then obviously go do the FAFSA form. After those two things are done, you will be offered the federal loans. Once those two steps are done, then the next thing you need to do is the school will offer you the federal loans for that institution. You must accept the federal loans on the school's award letter or on the student's financial aid portal, whichever one the school utilizes, by basically checking off, yes, I'm accepting the loans. The next step is you must complete what I'm going to show you guys here today, which is the Master Promissory Note and the entrance interview paperwork. Now, to start the process, after you've done the FAFSA and everything else I talked about in the beginning, you need to go to studentaid.gov, which is a site you see right here, essentially. And what you will do is you will log in using the student's FAFSA login. So let me just start by basically clicking on here, clicking on the login page to then start the process of logging in as a student. And one last thing before we start the video, talking about the Master Promissory Note and entrance interview paperwork and how to complete it. One last thing I ask everyone that's watching the video today is, if you guys can please, when the video commercials pop up, just let them run, even if you guys watch them or not, go get a soda, go to the bathroom like we used to do in the 80s and 90s, because of the fact that the commercials help fund the James Russell Memorial Scholarship, the scholarship program we have here for organization, where we give out scholarship money to senior students going off to college. So those commercials, if you just let them run, it helps the organization out tremendously. That being said, let's jump right into today's guide about how to fill out the Master Promissory Note and the entrance interview paperwork. So what you'll see here is I'll log in my information here, and then what I'll do is I'll click on the login page, and then what you'll see will pop up next is basically they're confirming you're looking to enter into the FAFSA site, essentially the student loan site, so on and so forth. All these things are, by the way, are connected. The FAFSA, the federal loans, everything else, they're all basically the same website. So what you'll do is you'll click on the accept button here, and then what you'll see here next is you're going to see your information, your contact information, stuff that you already put into your student's account when you guys created the student account, as well as when you guys are filling out the FAFSA form. So we're going to go to the bottom of this page here. I'm going to click on this box down here. So once I click on this box down here, I'm going to press the continue button to bring us to the next page. Now here, what's going to show you is what items have already verified for you. Now, many of you have already given them your cell phone number and your email address as far as creating the student's login information. So this is what you're going to basically see right here, that both of your items have been verified. So I'll click on the continue button. If for whatever reason on here it doesn't show you both of them, it's perfectly fine. As long as you have one of the two items on here verified, your cell phone or your email, you guys are perfectly fine. And what you'll notice on the next page here is basically what we're looking at here is essentially the beginning part of any process you want to utilize the federal websites for here. So we'll click on the close here just to say on the thank you page, indicating you access your dashboard here. Now on your dashboard here, you can do many different things here. Now, obviously, if you haven't done the FAFSA form, right here, the first link is what you want to do because you want to knock out the FAFSA to begin with. Now, what you'll notice here on the dashboard page is there's nothing here shown on the aid portion here. Now, what will happen is it's your first time coming to this website. If you're a freshman student, this will have nothing on here. It's just the way it's going to be because it's the first time it's been accessed either by you or no aid or any loans have been asked for. But what will happen is after you guys get the loans in place, or if you guys get any federal grants in place a year from now, this is what the screen will look like. And you see here, the new screen here, this is essentially what your screen will look like after you take out the loans or if you've gotten any federal grants a year from now. As you can see here under the My Aid, it's going to show you any loans your student has taken out, as well as this is also going to show you any grants you've gotten from the federal government, any Pell grants, any Teach grants, any SDOG money. All the stuff will be showing up right here on your dashboard. So if anytime you want to go in there in the future years here to see how much you have in loans outstanding for the federal government, or how much in grant money you've gotten. Very simple, just log into the student's dashboard and it'll show you all the information right here. As well as another key point here of this specific page here is once you guys are in the dashboard, right here on the right, it's going to show you who your servicer is of your loans. Now there's multiple servicers. It doesn't matter who your servicer is, by the way. All the interest rates are the same. All the terms are the same. It's just the federal government just randomly chooses essentially who your servicer is going to be. But these are the people you'll be paying back the federal loans after your student graduates. This is for both, by the way, for both the student's federal direct loans and the Parent Plus loans, which I'll be putting out a video about the Parent Plus loan, about how to do that later on. But right now I'm focusing on the federal direct loans for you guys. So right here is a servicer. These are the people you basically send your payments to later on, okay? And that being said, let's go on to the next part of this, which is essentially us going to starting the process of both the Master Promissory Note and entrance interview paperwork. Now, what you'll see down here on the right-hand side, you'll have a quick links page. Right now, you guys need to do the Master Promissory Note and entrance counseling paperwork. Now, by the way, it doesn't matter which one you start. It doesn't matter at all. You can start with the entrance or you can start with the Master Promissory Note, but you must do both of them to be able to get the students federal direct loans, which is also known as the Fafsa loans. These two forms are good for up to 10 years. So you're only doing this once, by the way, for the student. You don't have to do it every single year going forward for the federal direct loans in the student's name. The only time you have to do it again is if the student transfers. So the student goes from school A, stays there for a year or two, then elects to go to school B for whatever reason they transfer. You guys must go back in here and complete the Master Promissory Note and entrance interview paperwork for the new school. That will not transfer over, by the way. So you got to do it again. So let's start off with very simple. We'll click on here, the Master Promissory Note. And just one quick little note here. If for whatever reason on your screen, you don't see the Master Promissory Note or entrance counseling paperwork here on the right with quick links, very simple. Just go up here to where it says complete aid process. And right here, you'll see it, complete Master Promissory Note and also complete entrance counseling. So there's two places on this page to go to, but you can click on either one. We'll start off with the Master Promissory Note just to start the process off here. All right, so now we've gotten to the beginning pages of the Master Promissory Note. And what you'll see down here is you're gonna see 3 different items down here you can click on to start. Now, if you're looking to do the federal direct loans in the student's name, you will be clicking on the first one here, not these two. This one here deals with grad school, and this one deals if you're looking to do the Parent Plus loan. So these two are very different. So we'll click on the first one here to start the student's undergrad Master Promissory Note. Now what you'll notice here is a lot of your information automatically is already gonna be on here because it's already transferred this information, by the way, from the FAFSA form you guys filled out and the FSA ID. So we're gonna go down the page, and the first box you basically need to check off is this box right here. As long as this is your current address above, obviously I have it blocked out, but as long as it's your current address, all you need to do is just click on this little box right here and then basically go to the bottom and press continue. And we notice in the next page that pops up here, they're gonna ask you guys for what school is this going to. And what you'll notice is it's a little tricky here, but I'll show you guys how this works. So we'll click here, and then what'll happen is you want to type in part of the state to begin with. So we'll go with New for New Jersey, and then what you see is these things will pop up right here. You gotta click on these. You can't just write the name and it won't recognize it. So I'll click on New Jersey, and then we'll pop up down here. It'll give us the option now to then fill in the state school we want us to go to. So I'll fill in Rutgers, the state school here, and you'll see the same thing will happen. It'll pop up. You gotta click on that little thing above it. You cannot just type in the school's name. It won't recognize it. I don't know why it does this, but just the way the system works. And then what you'll see is on the right-hand side here, it'll pop up the school's information. And as long as it's the right school for you guys, all you need to do is go to the bottom, click on the continue button, and then move on to the next page here. Now what you're gonna notice here on the next page is it wants you to give them 2 references. Now the way you wanna do this is when you go down here and you click on to add the references, you wanna start with the first reference being a parent, mom or dad. Doesn't matter who that is, to be honest with you. As far as it could be mom or dad, doesn't matter which way you go, but you need to put at least one parent in the beginning reference. If there isn't a parent available, then you use a guardian or adoptive parent. That's who you use here. Essentially the person's caring for the student, i.e. providing for them, uncle, aunt, grandparent, etc. That's the first reference. The second reference you put in here is anyone. It could be a family friend, it could be a relative, it could be a neighbor, it could be the student's best friend, it could be anyone, to be honest with you. Now the references, by the way, are not contacted. So they're not gonna call these people up or email them, by the way. Whoever you put on here doesn't matter. The reason they do this is for essentially is if you don't pay your loan back and you're basically 6 months late with your loan once you start repaying it back, that's when they start contacting people and asking them, do you know Ed? Do you know where Ed is? Can you give us some contact with Ed? So on and so forth, because we need him to pay his loan. That's essentially what the references are for if you're wondering. So I'm going to let you guys here fill out your references here. So what you're going to notice is after you add your two references, it's going to show them both here. So what you need to do is basically after you added them is just click on both references like this here. And after you click on both references, what will happen is you just press the continue button and we'll move on to the next page. And what you're going to notice here is it's going to be very simple from this point on. For the next 5 pages, what you're supposed to do is read through all the different agreements of this form. I'm going to basically go through it because I've already read these things, by the way. So I'm going to go through these a little quickly. So if you want to pause the video here and read through all these, I would suggest at least reading part of it because it explains the interest, explains the payment plans, explains so on and so forth, everything about the loan and how it works essentially for your student. Bottom here of each page here, and just press the continue button. But once again, like I mentioned to you guys, you should read through these things. Once again, here we're on page, I'm just gonna go to the bottom here because I've already read all these things myself. And I already know about these things myself because they don't change that much every year, by the way. So I'll click continue here. This is page 2 of 5 pages we're gonna be going through, reading through and pressing the continue button. And here we are on page 3, same thing, probably getting boring for you guys. And here we are on page 4. Again, read through this again, and then go to the bottom here, and I will press on the continue button here. And now we've reached page 5. So then we'll go to the bottom here. Once again, go all the way to the bottom. Once again, these different pages are telling you how to repay back the loans, how the loan works, interest rates, what the amount you're able to take out is, so on and so forth. So it is beneficial for you guys to read these things. How to have the loans forgiven, public service loan forgiveness, discharge. And now we've gone to the last page here. Now they just want you to review your information, your name, your social, your birthday, so on and so forth, your references, so on and so forth. I'm just gonna go all the way to the bottom here, by the way, because all the stuff in here has already been pre-populated for me here, or I've actually put it in before. So I'm just gonna go to the bottom, but you wanna go through these things, make sure they're correct things for you, address, phone number, so on and so forth. I'll press the continue button here, move us to the next page here. Now here in the last page is basically a signature page, and then we're done. We're basically submitting at this point in time. So what you need to make sure is you're going to go down to the bottom. You're going to click on this box right here, certifying that you've read all the information, you understand, so on and so forth. And you're going to put your name down here and click the submit button. We are done with the Master Promissory Note. Once you click this, you get the confirmation screen, and then we can move on to the next form, which is the entrance counseling form, by the way. So now that we've gotten the confirmation page, now that you've done the Master Promissory Note, there's 2 things you can do here. We can, number 1, go right up here to your name, and click down here where it says dashboard. What a dashboard will do, it'll bring us back here to the beginning page to allow us to then start the entrance counseling form. Or what you can do once again is click up here on complete aid process and do the same thing, complete the entrance counseling up here. I'll just click the one up here. By the way, once again, doesn't matter if you click this one up here after you do the Master Promissory Note and you get the confirmation page, or if you click the one down here, doesn't matter. It's exactly the same place where it brings us. So we've already done the Master Promissory Note. Now we're going to start working on the entrance counseling paperwork. All right, now that you get on the entrance counseling paperwork, once the form opens up here, you're going to notice once again, we're going to have 2 different start buttons. Once again, if this is for an undergrad student, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior student, at any point in time you guys are looking to take out the loan, you guys are going with the top one up here. The bottom one down here is for graduate students or Parent Plus loans, which is something completely different. You do not click on this one down here. We click on this one up here to start the process. Now, what you're gonna notice here is this is a big difference between the Master Promissory Note and entrance interview paperwork is then the entrance paperwork, you're actually doing a test. They're gonna review, give you information to look at, review, so on and so forth, and they're gonna test you on it, by the way. What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna go through the whole test for you guys, answer all the questions, so on and so forth. It is best for you guys, obviously, read all the questions, read all the terminology and everything else. So if you need to pause the video, perfectly fine. But I'm gonna go through the whole thing. I've done probably thousands of these with families, so I don't actually read through the information anymore because I already know the information. But I suggest you guys do read through the information and understand how I come up with these answers, because it's obviously your loan you guys are taking out. It's not my loan, it's your information. It's best you guys know everything about this process. So I'll start off down here by clicking on the continue button. And you'll notice up here, it's going to indicate this usually takes about 20, 30 minutes to do, because most of you guys should be reading through this material to understand how it works. All right, so the first thing it's going to ask you for, once again, it's going to ask you for what schools it's going to be for. So once again, we'll go over here and click on and start with the state part. And once again, as it pops up, you want to click on their link here. Do not type in the whole name, click on their link. And then once you put in New Jersey, once again, I'll put in Rutgers next here. As you can see here, Rutgers popped up once again. So I'll type Rutgers is here. So all let's do now is click on the continue button to move on essentially to the test. Now here we can see this test is going to give us some information about the different modules and things it's going to explain to us that you should be reading through. So this is all the information it's going to tell you guys about. I'll go back up to the top here. I'll click on the start button so we can start the test essentially. So your whole thing is you guys should be reading through these different informational sessions here, these different little clips here, explaining to you all the different nuances and how cost of attendance works, colleges, loans, so on and so forth, repayments, interest rates, and everything else. You guys should be going through these and reading these different items. Now here on this page, there is something you need to fill out. Now Rutgers is already indicated here, so we'll click on the select the type of tuition. So either in-state student or you're out-of-state. So if we're in-state student, we'll click on in-state. Next thing it's going to ask us is for a living situation. Are we going to be living on campus or off campus? Either one, whichever is one that addresses you. I'll click on campus here. And then we'll indicate here, obviously most undergrad programs are 4 years. So many of you guys will just click on the 4 years, by the way. There's no wrong answer here, by the way, whichever one you choose here. So I'll click on the 4 year here. And I'll click on view data, which is going to bring me to the next page. This is going to show you, by the way, how much this is all going to cost you over the 4 year time frame. So if you want to review this stuff, it is informational. I'll click on the continue button because I already know this information. This is now telling me we're going to be going into the next part of the module, basically explaining more information. Once again, you should be reading through these different parts of the module. I'll click on the continue button because I already know all this information. Once again, I'll do the same thing, continue again. We'll go to the bottom here after reading these items and click the continue button. Click the continue button again to then start off the next module, which is basically all it's doing is giving you a lot of information here about how this whole process works. The loans, the Master Promissory Note, the entrance, the interest rates, the delinquencies, all these different things are talked about in these things. You guys really should be reading about these things, like the standard 10-year repayment, how the loans work, so on and so forth. Like as you can see down here, it's showing me the interest rates that are now in place right now for this year's senior class, 22. This year's senior class going to freshman year for 22-23 academic year. By the way, this is interest rates for everyone taking out the federal loans, by the way. Sub and unsub they talk about here. So both the loans you guys are looking to take out. We'll click on the continue button here. And once again, this goes through the different amounts you guys can take out, the limits I've told you guys about in the beginning of the video. We'll go to the bottom here, click continue again. And then once again, more information here talking about the different loans and stuff. These ones here are talking about the graduate loan stuff, the Parent Plus loans, direct loans, so on and so forth. Also, they talk about the origination fees because there are fees for these loans, both the federal direct loans and the Parent Plus loans. So once again, you guys should be reading through this. And then we're going to get to basically the last part here after reading through these different modules, then explaining all the different processes, the loans, so on and so forth. And now what's telling us is we're going to be taking a quiz. This is why I told you guys you should be reading these things so you understand the information. Now I'll be answering these questions here for you because I already know the answers, so on and so forth. So first question is, what documents explain your rights and responsibilities as a federal loan borrower? And that is your Master Promissory Note. We can click on check answer or continue. Either one's going to tell us if we're right or wrong, by the way. So I'll press the continue button. Now, obviously, you want to get more right than wrong here. Now, you can get a couple wrong here, by the way. You don't have to have them all 100% right. A couple wrong is fine, but you can't have them all wrong, by the way. Next question here is, which loan type provides interest subsidy, which is the subsidized loan? And I'll click on the continue button here. And once again, we got that one right. So we'll go to the next question here. Who should you contact if you're having problems with paying your loan back? That's very simple. You contact your servicer because your loans get repaid back after you graduate. That's why you contact your servicer, not your school. And that brings us to the next module. So you guys have to do a couple of these modules here where you have to read through the questions and then answer the quiz questions at the end. Once again, I suggest you guys go through, read all the documentation, because obviously I know these answers. Many of you guys do not know these answers. So it's best you have this information so when you have to start paying back a loan and you understand how the whole process works, it's easier for you guys to make sure you're on track here. You're not just out of the blue, kind of blindsided by all this stuff. Now we've gotten to the second part where you have to answer a couple more questions again to get to the quizzes basically and to review the information. So for degree program, most of you here, by the way, will be going for a bachelor's degree. Once again, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Also, field of study here is not important. So we'll just click on the view the data. And it's going to basically pop up some information below for us, indicating the different kind of loans and stuff very likely will be involved in if we take out a majority of the federal loans available to us. Then we'll go down here to the bottom here. It's going to show us the amount we're typically known to borrow if we are looking to do the federal loans for the student. We'll click on the program length again and click on 4 years, by the way. 4 years is typically for most of you students watching. I'll click on calculate. It gives you the information again. And we'll go down here and click on the continue button to keep moving through the modules here. So once again, more information here for you guys to read through. I'll click on the continue button. If you guys want to pause the video, obviously at any point in time, pause it and read through these different modules. They do provide a lot of information about the deferments, forbearance, interest rates, how they work, if you're having issues paying back a loan, so on and so forth. But I'm just gonna basically go to the bottom here and just click on the continue button for each one, just to get to the quiz, and then kind of go through the process of answering the questions with you guys on the video here. So next question is, who do you contact if you've already accepted more loans than you need? Very simple, the financial aid office, because of the fact you guys are in college and they can adjust the loans for you if you want to lower the loan amounts. Now we'll go to the next question. What increases your total loan balance, which is very simple. It's both the ones on top. The interest as well as the capitalization of the interest. This is what increases your loan interest amount, by the way. We'll click on the continue button. Next question is, how can you reduce your total loan cost, which is all three of these, by the way. Paying it down early, paying it down aggressively, so on and so forth. All of these here, all of the above, or any of the above, essentially, will help lower the cost of the loan, help lower the cost basis of the loan, let's call it. So we finished the first two, I guess, quizzes, modules, so on and so forth. I'm going to go on here to the third module here, which is basically the same format here, just more information for you guys, and then quizzes at the end. So once again, here, we're going to have to go through 3 different stages here. Where we'll go, you guys will read them. These are the servicers, by the way, the different people that hold your loans in place. Each one of you guys will have one of the different servicers here. But we'll go down here, the continue button, to go to the next level here, to read the next part here. And once again, we just read through these different sections here, indicating all the different loan amounts and how much you'll have, the standard repayments, so on and so forth, all your rights and so on and so forth to different loans you have. These are different repayment plans the federal government offers you if you want to go through, calculate how much loan debt you think you'll have. If you click the calculate button, they'll tell you what your payments will be, so on and so forth. So these are very important things to go through to understand what we're looking to pay later on, obviously. And then we'll go through here, one more information part here, and then we jump on to the next quiz. So who do you contact if you have questions about repaying back your loan? Once again, you contact your servicer, because that's the people that are handling your loans. But continue, who do you contact when it's time to enroll in a repayment plan? Once again, your servicer. We'll click on them. That's correct, so we'll click on continue. And the next question is, what percentage of your gross salary does the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau suggest your student loan payment be in order to be affordable? Well, I already know the answer, obviously, but if you read this, obviously, before, you'd know it's 8%. That's the number they're looking for. And then we go to which repayment plan will you be placed in automatically? And that's the standard repayment, which is the 10-year repayment plan, by the way, monthly 10-year repayment plan after your student graduates. And then we'll click on the continue button here. And what you notice is here, we're getting pretty close. We're pretty much at the end here. This is just information at this point in time, explaining what happens if you guys don't pay back these loans. Delinquency, credit issues, so on and so forth. It also explains deferment and forbearance if you have having problems repaying back your loans, different things you can do to kind of help your cause. Just in case you can't pay back the loans, there are plans in place to help you guys. Which then brings us to here, I'll click on the module here, the last continue button here. And what you'll see here is going to give you the last page is essentially a summary of what you've gone through. All you need to do now is click the submit button and you guys are all done. So we did the entrance counseling and the Master Promissory Note. Both forms are done. You guys are now in place to be able to get your federal direct loans. All I ask for you guys watching these videos is if you could just elect to please let the videos commercials run. Some of you guys, a lot of us click the, skip the commercial. That's what helps fund our organization, specifically the James Russo Memorial Scholarship. That's how the funding comes for these things. So if you guys can at least let the video commercials run, whether you watch them or not, up to you, but at least let them run. That allows us to help fund the organization, specifically helps fund the scholarship program. As well as if you need any help in the process, going through this entire process, whether it be admissions, financial aid, loans, essays, etc., you can always reach out to me. On the screen is my cell phone number. You can either text me or call. Text, by the way, is the fastest way to get a hold of me. Or you can even just send me an email. That's my email on the screen as well. Other than that, thank you for watching today's video. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep.